In this video, we're going to take a look at the most important parts to teach in each Confidence and Connections lesson, as well as some tips for how to adjust the length of your lessons if necessary. Each Confidence and Connections lesson offers enough material for approximately 90 minutes to 2 hours of instruction. As you prepare your lessons, it's important to focus on your students' needs. You'll want to think about what may be most useful to your students. It's important to be able to adapt the lessons and make them as relevant as possible. For example, if you're teaching a lesson about filling out job applications and your student is a stay-at-home parent, you might want to think about other kinds of applications they may need to fill out in their life, and how you might be able to incorporate these into the lesson. Let's talk about how to adjust the length of your lesson if necessary. We recommend always doing the vocabulary, listening, and language tools, or grammar, sections. These first 3 pages of each lesson are the building blocks for the lesson. They include the vocabulary and grammar that students will need to complete the rest of the activities. It's important to make sure that you don't rush through these sections. Now let's look at the vocabulary section. Remember to keep it simple. It's best to stick mostly to the vocabulary that is in the book in that lesson. Don't get into long explanations of interesting but less important words. However, you might want to add words if they are relevant to the topic and necessary for your student. Occupations is a great example. Make sure your student's occupation is in there. Or in the family lesson, if they live with a family member that's not included in the chart, you'll want to add that member. When you come to the pronunciation section, consider whether the sound highlighted is a problematic one for your student. If it isn't, you might want to focus on a different sound in the vocabulary for that lesson. The same thing goes for grammar. Try to avoid long technical explanations. If students ask a difficult question and you're not sure of the answer, you might consider having a grammar parking lot on the board. You can add their additional questions there, do some research, and come back to the next class with an answer. Have your students repeat the structures in the chart and give short, simple explanations when necessary. Levels 4 and 5 provide these short explanations in the student books. Additional explanations can be found in the call-out boxes in the teacher's books. Depending on how much time you have, in the grammar practice section, you may choose to do fewer exercises in each of the grammar activities, or you can do them verbally instead of having students write each answer out. If the grammar is challenging, it may be best to do all of the activities in class with your students. You might even decide to use part of an activity as your warm-up in the next class. In the first page of the Real Life or Your Life section, you have some more flexibility. Consider how you might want to adapt these activities. If you're running short on time, you may decide to skip all or part of this page. The Real Life page usually has reading activities. Many of these give students a chance to develop critical thinking skills. You'll discover that some of the activities on this page can be assigned for homework instead. The second page of the Real Life section of the lesson provides important context and modeling, also known as scaffolding, for the Connect with Conversations section at the end of the lesson. We recommend doing this page with students in class. In Confidence and Connections, all lessons in levels 1 through 5 end with a conversation. Be sure not to skip the Connect with Conversations section. These conversations, which can lead to deeper relationships, are at the core of the Confidence and Connections curriculum. If you don't have enough time for this activity, which can take 10 to 15 minutes, you can use it as a warm-up at your next class. Finally, every lesson in Confidence and Connections has a homework page. We feel that it's important to assign something concrete for homework every class in order to encourage students to get some practice between class sessions. The activities on the Confidence and Connections homework pages mimic the grammar practice activities from that lesson. In levels 2 through 5, there is also a journal prompt, which is a great way to help your students practice fluency in their writing. You may decide to assign any of the activities from the lesson that you didn't get to for homework, in addition to or instead of the activities on the homework page of the lesson. Whatever you assign for homework, make sure to go over it in the following class. We hope this video has given you some helpful ideas for how to pace your lesson and adjust the material in Confidence and Connections. Please feel free to contact us with any questions. Thank you for being part of the Intercambio movement.